Hey everyone, my name's Jessie. Welcome back to my channel. It's been a while since I have filmed, so I am sitting in my living room and watching a little baby girl right over to the side here, making sure she is content while I film. So I figured I would talk to you all today about my June TBR, because if you didn't know, for the whole month of June, I am participating in the Olympics Readathon that is going on in the Shelf Space Discord server that I will link down below. We are doing a competitive readathon through the month of June where I am the team captain of Team Eos, the Goddess of Dawn. And as people complete books throughout the month, they earn points for their team. There are 16 prompts that I talked about in my last video that are all themed after the Olympians and some other gods and goddesses outside of the Olympians. And these prompts are just to help you guide your reading for the month, but you can totally read outside of these prompts as well. So my June TBR is very ambitious. I've actually already finished some books that I will talk about in this video. I'm relying heavily this month on audiobooks, so I am more likely to complete books that I'm able to get off of Libby if they have audiobooks for these books available. I am finding that I have a lot of audiobook listening time with a newborn. That is a game changer and definitely helping me stay competitive in this readathon. So going through the prompts and the books I selected for each different prompt. The first prompt is Zeus. Read a book that features a kingdom or patriarchy. For this prompt, I went with 12 Kings in Sharakai by Bradley P. Below. And this one I selected because this is Elle and I's buddy read for the month of June. And I, again, don't know if I'm going to be able to get to this one. I don't have access to the audiobook right now, and it is quite chunky. So if I do have time to physically read this book, I would love to get to it, but it's all just dependent on baby girl right over there. The next prompt is Poseidon. Read a book with water, oceans, lakes, rivers, etc. And for this prompt, I actually am going to continue my read of Upon a Burning Throne by Ashok K. Banker, which was last month's buddy read with Elle that I did not get a chance to finish before I went into labor. So I got about halfway through this pretty chunky adult fantasy book, and I was really enjoying it actually. It was very unique, very unlike anything else I've read, and has a pretty big character that is associated with a river spirit, so that is why it fits this prompt pretty darn perfectly. So this is one that, again, if I can physically read this month, I would love to prioritize this one and finish it up because I really only have about 300 pages left. Next prompt is Hades. Read a book with the undead or ghost theme. And for this one, I'm going with More Than This by Patrick Ness, which is one of the YA books that I wanted to prioritize while I was out on my maternity leave. This one follows a character who has passed away, but for some reason is still hanging around the physical world and is kind of in this limbo state, which is why I think it fits the Hades prompt quite well, with it being about this kind of character in limbo, maybe undead, I'm not sure. So this one just sounded really, really good, and I love Patrick Ness's Chaos Walking trilogy, so definitely want to give this one a go. The next prompt is Hestia. Read a book with a found family trope, and I actually already finished the book that I had selected for this prompt, which was Raybearer by Jordan E. Fueco. This follows a character named Tari Sai who comes from a interesting background. She was kind of abandoned as a child and was raised in a pretty isolated place, and she's sent on this mission to become one of the Crown Prince's Council of 11. So if she's chosen as one of the Crown Prince's council members, then she has this kind of family that she's never had before. The twist in this, though, is that a part of her mission and why she was sent to do this is to actually get close to the crown prince so that she can kill him. So this one was a lot of fun. I will talk about it in a wrap-up video later on, my entire thoughts, but overall I enjoyed this. I liked it. I don't know yet if I will continue on with the series, but the world building in this one and the relationships between the main characters were fantastic. So I'm really glad I read this one, and I can't wait to share all of my thoughts about it in my next video. The next prompt is Hephaestus, read a book with fire on the cover or in the title. And for this prompt, I went with Heart of Flames by Nikki Palpretto. You can see all that fire on the cover. This one is the sequel to Crown of Feathers, which I enjoyed. I liked it enough to continue on with the series. This is a really chunky book. I do have the audiobook ready to listen to after I finish listening to my current audiobook, so that will hopefully help me get through this very chunky book. The next prompt is Dionysus, read a book with red or white on the cover, and for this one I'm going with Dragon Teeth by Michael Crichton, which has white and red on the cover and on the spine. So this one I'm selecting because I have access to the audiobook from my Libby app, and this one is not too long. It's another sci-fi type thriller. I really love Jurassic Park by Michael Crichton and recently read The Lost World as well and had so much fun listening to that audiobook. So I feel like I just really want to get through more Michael Crichton books because I really like his writing style. I don't know too much about this one. I think it has Western influences, and obviously it has a dinosaur on the front, so I'm assuming there's something to do with dinosaurs. I'm not quite sure. I'm hoping I enjoy this one and will continue to want to read even more Michael Crichton books after this. The next prompt is Hermes, which is read a book involving travel, vacation, or a quest. So for this prompt, I don't have a specific book picked out, but the one I'm listening to right now that I originally had picked for a different prompt actually fits this prompt perfectly, and that is Shadow of the Fox by Julia Kagawa, which I'm listening to the audiobook for this one right now, and I'm about 75% of the way through, so I imagine I will finish it today or tomorrow. I am loving this. This is a Japanese-inspired YA fantasy about a half-kitsune girl who is tasked with protecting this scroll that has this mysterious power, and she teams up with this shinobi, which is a kind of shadow samurai, a samurai without honor. And he is tasked with finding this scroll and basically killing anyone who gets in his way. So our main kitsune character tricks him into thinking that she has the answers to where this scroll is, but is hiding the fact that she herself has the scroll. She is just using him as assistance to get to where she needs to go. It's really fun. I love the Japanese influences in this so much. It makes me so nostalgic back to when I lived in Japan. Oh my god, I love it so much. So I'm having so much fun listening to this book right now. And if I do find a different book that fits into the EOS prompt, which is to read a book that is the first in a duology or series, then I will put this one under the Hermes prompt because it is definitely all about our main character's quests. The next prompt is Artemis, read a book with moon or night in the title or on the cover. So for this one, I'm actually selecting City of Blades by Robert Jackson Bennett, which has a moon right here on the cover. This is the sequel to City of Stairs, which I read in January, and that was for the shelf space book pick for the month of January, and I ended up loving that book. It had so much political intrigue. I loved the main characters. The world building was super cool. The magic was really interesting. I'm so excited to continue on with this series and just haven't had a chance to yet. So I figured because this has the moon on the cover, this was the perfect opportunity to pick it up if I have the time. Again, it's not available as an audiobook, it looks like, so I don't know realistically if I will be able to get to this one, but if I can, that would be amazing. And I really, really want to finish off this trilogy. The next prompt is Apollo, which is read a book in a non-traditional format. So for example, a book written in verse or mixed media, a graphic novel, comic book, novella, etc. So for this one, I'm picking up Ring Shout by P. Jelly Clark, which is one that has been on my TBR for many, many months now. I've heard nothing but amazing things about this historical fantasy book that centers around a time period where the Ku Klux Klan is very prevalent and takes that idea of these Ku Klux Klan members and puts a fantasy spin on them by making them actual demon creatures that our main characters have to slay, which sounds so cool. So I'm really excited to get to this one. It's very short. I should be able to read this in one go, hopefully, so we'll see. But this is one that I plan on starting very soon, which is why I have a bookmark already set to go in it. The next prompt is Aries, which is read a military-centered fantasy or sci-fi book. So for this one, I am selecting Caliban's War by James S.A. Corey. I read Leviathan Wakes last October, and I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it enough to continue on with the series. This is a really long series full of chunky books, but I do believe I have the audiobook available on the Libby app, so this is one that realistically I might be able to get to if I have time, and I'd really love to get to it because it's been a while now since I've read the first book and I don't want to wait too much longer. I don't want to forget everything. I know that this introduces us to a new cast of characters and kind of a new storyline as well, so maybe I'll end up enjoying this one even more than the first one, since my complaints with the first one really had to do with just not totally connecting to the characters, not loving the ending as much. This one sounds like it might actually appeal to me even more, so I'm excited. I'm excited to give it a try and continue on with the Expanse series. The next prompt is Hera, read a book that features a queendom or matriarchy, and for this one I'm going with The Queen of the Tierling by Erica Johansson, which I believe this features a queendom. It has queen in the title. That's the only thing I'm basing that off of. So this one I have had on my shelves for a long time now. I've heard good things about it and I've really been wanting to read it. It's stunning, stunning cover. So I would love to get to it. Realistically, I don't know if I'll actually be able to get to this one. So we'll see, but it would be awesome if I could fit all of these into June, even though June is pretty much halfway over anyway at this point. So realistically, no, but if I can, that'd be great. The next prompt is Demeter, which is read a book with food on the cover. And this one, I am going to go with The Girl Who Could Move Stuff with Her Mind by Jackson Ford. This has food on the cover. You can see it here. Pizza, popcorn, I think that's grilled cheese. I love this cover, it's so fun. So this one, I have heard it compared to Jessica Jones, the Netflix series, which I really enjoyed. It says, like Alias meets X-Men as well on the cover. So that's another blurb that makes me really intrigued to read this book. It is available as an audiobook. So again, I'd love to get to this one. Realistically, will I? I don't know, but I would love to. And it fits this prompt perfectly. The next prompt is Athena, read a book with political intrigue. And this book I already finished as well, and that is Fireborn by Rosaria Munda. I loved this. I figured I would based off of Elle and Alan's recommendations. I've been wanting to read this ever since Elle first mentioned it on her channel. So I'm so glad I finally got around to listening to the audiobook. The audiobook was fantastic for this. I loved this. I can't wait to talk about more detailed thoughts on why, but this was very political and it was very well realized, very mature. I love the themes, love the main characters. This has a lot. This has a lot going for it. So I'm excited to talk more about it, but this one definitely fits the Athena prompt. The next prompt is Aphrodite, read a book with a beautiful cover, and for this one I am choosing Spinning Silver by Naomi Novik, which is one of my favorite covers on my shelf. I love this so much, and it is available as an audiobook as well, so I would love to read this. I read Uprooted by Naomi Novik and I enjoyed it, but I didn't love it. I think I liked it more than a lot of other people though. So I've heard that Spinning Silver is almost universally more well loved than Uprooted. People seem to much prefer Spinning Silver, so I would love to give this one a shot, because if I liked Uprooted, then I feel like I'm going to love Spinning Silver, and this cover could not be any more gorgeous. So this is definitely my Aphrodite pick. And finally, we have the Nyx prompt, which is to read a book that is the last in a series or duology. And this one I already completed as well. I had started it last month and just hadn't had time to finish it, but I did finish it at the beginning of this month, and it is A Vow So Bold and Deadly by Brigid Kemmerer, which I overall enjoyed. I liked this more than the second book in the series, but the first book is still my favorite in this Cursebreakers series. Overall though, this is a really fun YA fantasy series. It starts off as a Beauty and the Beast retelling. I think it quickly becomes its own thing. There are certain characters that I much prefer to others, which I will talk about in my wrap up when I give more detailed thoughts. But overall, really glad I read this series. Really had a lot of fun with it. Very easy reads, fun writing style, just what I needed. I'm going to try to recap it in the most logical way, so I'm gonna go just in terms of priority. The books that I already finished for this month that were on the TBR are these 3. The books that I'm in the middle of that I definitely plan on finishing this month are these 2. And then I think that these are the 5 that I would prioritize over the rest. These are almost all available on audiobook, which is a big reason why I would prioritize them. And then these are the ones that would be super fun to get to. I would be really happy if I got to them, but realistically, I most likely will not. But it's nice to have options. All right, well, did you see any books that you've read yourself, and what did you think of them? If you have, definitely let me know in the comments down below. Thank you all for being patient with me as I try to balance filming with a new baby in the picture. If you're wondering how we're doing great. We've had a couple obstacles with my own health, but I am on the up and up, much better. Baby is super healthy, very happy. We are doing very well. So thank you all so much for all of the sweet messages and support that you've showed on my latest community post tab. That was so nice and just totally made my day. Seeing all of those sweet messages from you guys, it means the world to me. Thank you all so much for being such an amazing community and just being there for me. I really appreciate it. We'll continue to try to upload, but it will probably again be sporadic for a little bit while we continue to try to come up with a routine that works for both a baby and me. It is quite busy, I will not lie, but at least I'm getting some good audiobook listening in. I'm actually quite pleased with the amount that I've been able to listen to audiobooks. All of you who recommended that, you were totally right. So thank you so much for all of the tips and tricks that you all have been commenting and sending my way, because it's very appreciated and I see it all and I listen to it, so thank you all. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you'd like to, and I will see you all in my next one. Bye!